President Joe Biden and then President Donald Trump said a lot of things during their 2020 debates, not all of which have aged well. Here's a quick rundown on what was said and how it looks today. Biden proposed to expand the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, while preserving private health insurance.
What's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that, he ran on that, and he's been governing on that.
The 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy with.
That's simply not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist medicine.
Biden then accused Trump of wanting to take away people's health care by overturning the Affordable Care Act. 4 years later, both Obamacare and private health insurance remain intact, though Trump is still talking about replacing Obamacare, and Biden is still saying Trump would rip away people's health care.
I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts.
The cuts, passed by Congress in 2017, are arguably the biggest policy change of Trump's entire presidency. While they lower taxes for most workers, Democrats have attacked them for benefiting high earners and corporations the most, with Biden saying Trump pays proportionately less taxes than a school teacher. Trump said the tax cuts were evidence that he gets things done.
In 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
Biden proposed raising taxes on people earning more than $400,000 a year, while Trump warned such an increase would hurt the economy. The problem with Biden pledging in 2020 to eliminate the Trump tax cuts was that they don't expire until 2025. Biden has not majorly overhauled the tax code during his first term in office, but says that if reelected, he will let Trump's cuts stay expired, which would mean millions could see tax hikes as high as 4%. Trump bragged in the debate.
By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300.
Part of the reason for the high number was that, according to Trump, President Barack Obama left 128 spots vacant when he left office, saying, "If you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president." However, this is one of Trump's comments that has not aged well. For one, he finished with 234 appointed justices, rather than 300. More importantly, Biden is on pace to beat his record, with 201 appointments as of June 14th, which is more than Trump had at this point in his term. Trump's saving grace on this topic is the fact that he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices, whereas Biden, to date, has only 1. Biden is hoping to change that if reelected.
We're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future.
This one is a little hard to judge, since Biden did not put an exact timeline on these proposals. But the federal fleet today still consists overwhelmingly of gas-powered vehicles. The website for the U.S. General Services Administration says it has a goal of purchasing only electric vehicles by 2035, which, even if reached, would leave gas-powered federal vehicles on the road for years afterward. GSA says it has begun installing more than 26,000 charging ports, with 7,000 currently in use. The Biden administration did invest $7.5 billion in electric vehicle charging stations as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, but as late as March, had only 7 stations to show for it. Trump is arguably campaigning harder on the issue of electric vehicles than Biden in 2024, repeatedly promising that the government's EV push will wreck the auto industry if he doesn't win.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially. Anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
This statement, perhaps more than others, has not aged well. In January 2022, when Biden had still been in office for less than a year, the total number of COVID-19 deaths under his watch surpassed those of Trump, even though vaccines became widely available earlier in Biden's presidency. By May 2022, there have been more than 1 million COVID-19 deaths, 60% of which occurred after Biden took office. Needless to say, Biden remained as president even after surpassing the 220,000 mark. However, Trump also made pandemic-related statements he probably regretted later.
Well, I have a very good relationship with Dr. Fauci. I've had for a long time, right from the beginning. I find him to be a very nice person. I charged them 25% on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry.
Okay.
And now we have a steel industry.
Vice President.
Trump was proud of his China tariffs, and Biden did not directly respond to the assertion during the debate, pivoting instead to middle-class economic struggles. Biden, elsewhere in 2020, suggested he would end Trump's China tariffs, but after taking office, he not only kept them in place, he's now trying to outdo Trump with even higher ones. The topic is likely to come up again during the CNN debate as both candidates look to woo blue-collar Rust Belt voters in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people.
Biden did, in fact, send Congress a bill on the first day of his administration, calling to create an earned roadmap to citizenship for undocumented individuals. While the bill has not been passed, it has been repeatedly cited by figures like White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre when asked questions about Biden's immigration policy. More recently, Biden has moved on his own to ease the pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants who are married to U.S. citizens, partly fulfilling his debate pledge. Trump's message on immigration has not changed much in 8 years.
We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally. You mean the laptop is now another Russia?
Trump said in 2020, the younger Biden's computer, which had recently hit the headlines and become one of that campaign cycle's biggest controversies. Trump is likely to bring the Hunter Biden laptop up again, now that it has been largely verified and admitted as evidence in court. While it wasn't a campaign promise, Trump cited the laptop and Hunter Biden's foreign dealings as evidence that Joe Biden is a corrupt politician.
If this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
All right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby.
Biden, who had just said that character is on the ballot in the election, strongly implied in 2020 that the laptop was not legitimate.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage.
Biden won't be able to rely on that defense this time around, though it's an open question how much voters will be swayed by the actions of his son.